Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mings.
And I'm Ephraim225.
And today we are going to list off our top 10 most overpowered / broken / most hilarious dual strikes in Advanced Wars.
Dual Strike's the only mechanic more broken than a Mega Evolution.
Normally, when two COs activate their tag power in Dual Strike, you just get a double turn with 2 consecutive superpowers, which is already incredibly game-breaking.
However, when two COs who work particularly well together do it, they can get a unique tag break, which boosts their power even further.
Today, we are taking a look at the 10 most busted tag breaks in Dual Strike. We will not only look at sheer firepower, but also how well the powers synergize with each other. However, before we can go into that, we need to explain a few new mechanics Dual Strike added to the game, such as how power generation is changed.
Though the CO power mechanics remain similar to the previous games, Dual Strike's power meter no longer charges based on the monetary value of units damaged. It's based on an arbitrary point value instead. These are how many points you get when each unit under your control loses an HP. If you are inflicting damage, you get half the points you would have gotten had your unit been damaged. Whenever you earn points, your partner CO also receives points equal to 50% of what you earned. Each star on your power meter represents 1600 points at first. Each time you use a CO power, the value of a star goes up by 20% until it maxes out at 280% of the original value. And then after one more power use, it drops to 200% and stays that way for the rest of the match.
There's also a new mechanic called Tag Stars. The CO dossier may display a CO name with 1 to 3 stars next to it. These represent a bonus your commander gets when paired with another one. For each star, the CO gets 5 luck when attacking, meaning they may do up to 5% more damage per star, for a total of 15% extra luck at 3 stars. The stars have no direct relation to any other bonuses, but all pairings that do have stars, barring one exception, also gains a tag bonus.
When you activate a tag power, you'll see a meter that, for most pairings, shows 100%, but it may show more or less. The meter represents a bonus to all attacks during both turns of the tag power based on the relationship between the COs. For example, Max has a +5 bonus with Nell and Sammy being fellow Orange Star COs. He has a +10 bonus with Andy and Grit, each with a specially named tag power. These names are just for flavor and have no special effects. However, Max also has a -10 penalty when using a tag power with Von Bolt. In fact, nearly the entire cast has that penalty. Nobody likes Von Bolt. The highest bonus you can get here is +30, and only 3 pairings have it, all of which will appear in this video. Few pairings, aside from Von Bolt's, have any penalties, and even fewer have it worse than -10. These pairings are Kindle paired with Hawk for -20, Lash paired with Olaf for -20 also. Hawk paired with Eagle has a massive -30, and the worst pairing of all is Cole paired with Rachel for a disgusting -35. Rachel did not take kindly to being called ugly. One time. In the entire game.
Alright, so with that out of the way, it's time to start at the bottom with number 10 on this list. We would like to add that for any of these pairings, we won't be taking any equipable skills into account. So if you're thinking of sticking Mistwalker and Soul of Hachi on everyone, sorry, we thought about that already and it wasn't fun. So without further ado, let's begin our list with...
Number 10, Sasha and Colin, Trust Fund. This is one of the earliest tag powers you have access to in the campaign. Sasha is a newcomer in Advanced Wars DS and she feels almost tailor-made to be partners with her little brother. During her superpower, the damage you inflict adds 50% of the value of the damaged units to your current funds, so destroying an enemy tank would add 3,500 gold for example. Once you've built up all that cash, you then switch to Colin, who activates the infamous Power of Money, +1 firepower per 300 gold. Ever seen a tank do 999 damage to a mega tank? This is how. But you could have 0 funds and this would still be a fun tag because it has the highest general firepower boost at +30, and you get the biggest luck boost from the 3 tag stars this pairing has. And you only need to charge up a total of 11 stars to activate this? Let me just say, when they ask, how rich can you get, this is your answer. The downside though is that in waiting for the dual strike to be ready, you essentially give up Colin and Sasha's regular powers, which multiply your funds and reduce the enemy power meters respectively. These are also amazing abilities that you might not want to forego in lieu of such a massive attack boost.
Number 9. Jake and Jess, Heavy Metal. Sometimes the simplest powers are often the best. With Jess and Jake, you get a Tag Break, which boasts heavy firepower and excellent movement to all your ground vehicles. Both grants +2 movement and a good firepower increase of around 50 to 60%, although Jake's is slightly weaker in that it requires him to attack from planes. So if possible, try starting the dual strike with Jess and moving indirects or other units into position that lets them strike from planes on Jake's turn. Their superpowers also have the same cost of 6 stars for a total of 12, and that's pretty decent considering you also get a 10% firepower increase and a single tag star, adding 5% extra luck on top of it all. There's not much to say about this tag break, it's just a very good mix of firepower and mobility. It comes in incredibly quickly and is great for delivering a game-ending push.
Number 8. Jake and Rachel, Orange Crush. So, who thought making Rachel playable from the start of the game was a good idea? Just about any pairing involving her is going to be crazy just for her superpower, which is so overpowered that it makes Sturm, Von Bolt, and even Calder look like a Famicom Wars supply truck. It fires 3 missile silos that target automatically. The first targets wherever it can do the most HP damage, prioritizing foot soldiers. The second targets the area with the highest unit value in gold. The third aims for wherever it can do the most HP damage. This is less effective on the bigger map sizes, and I haven't even mentioned Jake yet because he's nowhere near this level of destruction, but his pairing with Rachel will also give +20 firepower and 2 tag stars. The star cost for all this is 12 stars total, which is not expensive for how chaotic this power is. Definitely have Rachel start the dual strike so that Jake can mop up anything left after the missiles come down. Also, the name of this dual strike is either an REM reference or a brand of soda. Hope for the latter.
Number 7. Andy and Hawk, Shaky Alliance. Whenever I see this tag break, I envision someone asking Andy and Hawk, "How much HP do you want to restore?" And both of them answering, yes. This impressive tag break boasts a total of 7 HP of global healing to your entire army, with a nice 2 HP global damage to the enemy as the cherry on top. While its firepower increase of 5% is notably less than other tag breaks, it's not the damage potential of this dual strike that makes it so devastating, but rather the fact that you will repair pretty much every damaged unit in your army up to full health. Andy's hyper upgrade is already terrifying on its own, but the Shaky Alliance takes it a step further. Its only downside is that Hawk's power meter is so big in comparison to Andy's, so it will take quite some time to charge it, and it will also require some balancing acts from you the player.
Number 6. Cole and Adder, Creepy Crawly. This one probably looks odd at first, as barring Flak and Jugger, these are easily the most boring COs in the game, and their powers only really affecting movement. The reason this pairing is here is because the cost of the dual strike totals a mere 10 stars, the cheapest in the game. A dual strike gives you 2 whole turns, which is so powerful on its own that the player that gets it first is already at a huge advantage. Both COs grant +2 movement to all units, which is basic but highly useful. Imagine mechs dashing over rivers, or air units being able to dash into the blind spot the enemy thought was protected. The +10 firepower from the pairing isn't half bad either, and if you manage to attack from the roads as Cole, you add +30 more to your attacks on top of that. Tricky to get the most profit out of, and there are other COs with meters of equal length to these two, but none of them have quite the synergy this pairing does.
Number 5. Sonya and Kombai, Battle Standard. Even though Kombai is nerfed slightly in Dual Strike, having his day-to-day firepower and defense decreased from 30% down to 20%, Samurai Spirit is still as broken as ever. And you know what's even more broken? Samurai Spirit with 30% additional firepower and 15% additional luck, thanks to the 3 tag stars he shares with his daughter. Not only that, but if Sonya goes first, she can prepare the way for Kombai's push by scouting out hidden units in the fog and making sure Kombai can go ham with an absolutely bonkers 90% firepower increase. If Kombai happens to go first, the enemy has to deal with counter break on their turn, meaning direct combat units are attacked by their targets before they can fire. It is no surprise that this father-daughter duo can absolutely clear a battlefield of threats with an incredibly busted tag break. It seems that locating Kombai's socks is not the only thing Sonya is useful for anymore.
Number 4, Rachel and Nell Windfall. Remember when I said Rachel's superpower makes just about any combination with her in it a pretty good one? This pairing kicks it up a notch. Rachel and Nell's Dual Strike may have a very strange name, but it's one of the 3 that comes with a maximum firepower boost of plus 30 and even more luck damage through tag stars, as if Nell needed even more. Her superpower was always reliant on chance to do the amount of damage it needed, but the firepower boost and extra luck makes the odds highly favorable to you on Nell's turn, not to mention the missiles from Rachel punch a hole in the enemy's defenses, as units gain less defense from terrain as they lose HP. This allows Nell to have even more potential damage due to the way luck and defense interact, and you only need 12 stars to use it. 12 lucky stars.
Number 3, Sami and Eagle, Earth and Sky. Often called the most broken duo in Dual Strike for its ability to just end a game with a single unit halfway across the map. This tag break is a special kind of cheesy. In case you aren't aware of how busted the combo that is Sami and Eagle is, allow me to explain it to you. You start out as Eagle with an infantry and a transport copter. You load the infantry into said transport copter and move it towards the enemy HQ. You then activate your tag break, which allows you to move the transport copter again thanks to Eagle's lightning strike. You then proceed to unload the infantry and tag over to Sami. That infantry can now move 5 more additional spaces and instantly cap your opponent's HQ. The only reason why this tag break isn't number 1 on the list, besides being very costly at 17 stars, is that against a human opponent they will definitely see it coming and heavily guard their HQ as a result. But it's not like the tag break is just a one-trick pony. You still get 3 tag stars, a 20% firepower increase, and the ability to take 3 turns in a row. The combination of Eagle's broken lightning strike and Sami's infantry instantly capping properties is a devastating combo, even if your opponent is able to prevent you from pulling off an HQ cap.
Number 2, Drake and Olaf, Dual Strike. You might think it's strange that we're including a pairing with no specially named Dual Strike, no compatibility bonuses, no tag stars, and not even a special win quote when you beat a map with these two, but pairing the 2 Weather COs is too good a combination to not talk about due to the incredible synergy. Both Olaf and Drake have superpowers that inflict 2 HP of damage to the entire enemy army, so the Dual Strike guarantees they all take 4 damage, and before you suggest countering with Hyper Upgrade, you can't repair a lost unit, and you're going to lose a lot of them on Olaf and Drake's attack turns. Hyper Upgrade also does nothing for the other problem. Drake's superpower halves the remaining fuel of all enemy units, and Olaf's superpower changes the weather to snow, which in this game doubles the fuel cost of movement for everybody but Olaf. Enemy air units will be very much in danger of crashing, and even APCs might run out of fuel and become stuck. While rain can be troublesome as it causes fog of war with reduced vision, if Drake starts the Dual Strike, Olaf will change the weather to snow and eliminate that problem. Though always remember you can start the Dual Strike with Olaf if you prefer fog of war for whatever reason. And it's only a 12-star power. This is what Penny wants to be in Days of Ruin.
Number 1, Hachi and Sensei, Grizzled Vets. What do you get when you combine the 2 most broken old men in Dual Strike? Well, you don't get a very high firepower bonus, as this tag break is just a regular 100%. But that doesn't really matter, because you can easily reach the unit cap of 50 in a single turn by activating this busted tag. Sensei's ability to spawn a bunch of mechs, followed by Hachi's ability to purchase units in every city, means that you can flood the battlefield with a sea of units. Now this by itself would already be quite strong, but in Dual Strike it is even more busted, because cheap recons, mechs and infantry are worth a lot of power when killed. This means that these 2 Grizzled Vets will continually generate more and more power from the units their power spawn, which leads to them being able to spam their tags over and over and over again, as both have the shortest power meters in the game. It's like an infinity machine, it never stops. Seriously, what was Dual Strike thinking by allowing unit spamming to be such a good way to generate power? Once Hachi and Sensei gets the ball rolling, there is literally nothing in the game that can stop them.
And there you have it, 10 of the most broken CO combinations in Advance Wars DS.
Do you agree with our lists, or do you feel we left someone out?
Leave a like and a comment or Mr. Bear will be very upset with you.
Wrong game, Ephraim.
But I like Mr. Bear, he wants to do a Days of Ruin video.
What kind of video would that be? Top 10 worst Days of Ruin maps? Top 10 greatest Whalon quotes? Top 10 most fabulous Tabata moments?
We should let the comments section decide that. Let us know what the video should be about.
Thank you so much for watching. I've been Mengs, and joining me today has been Ephraim225. Go subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. Link in the video description.
Yes, I need more subs for Bounty River. See ya, everybody!